Hi guys, welcome to another exciting series. This is Automation. I got this on Steam quite a while ago. I actually got this before it even was out on Steam. I've been following the developers for quite a while now. I really enjoy the way that they've gone about the process. They've really kept everyone informed. There's a lot of companies that come out early access and it's all sell, promote. Couple months into it, they do a few sort of updates and then you hear nothing from them. Everything just goes quiet and they've got your money and they've run away, it feels like. But not Automation, they really sort of stuck to it and they've really kept developing this game right through, and they still are. Obviously, I'm really looking forward to the campaign. I've sort of seen some teasers on what they're offering and how that's going to work, and when that's released we are going to do a Let's Play series and we'll do that completely together. I won't do any sort of practice or have a look into it. We'll explore that together when it's released. But in the meantime, we're just going to run a few scenarios and just have a look at a few other things that come up as things go along. The reason I wanted to do this is because I really think it's been a well-developed game and the developers have really worked hard to let people know what's going on. And I enjoy playing it, so hopefully you guys enjoy watching it. So we're going to start off, I should explain that a little bit better. We're going to start off doing the scenarios, and then there's an open sandbox, which if anyone wants to see anything particular, we can go into the sandbox and we can make anything. So let's just start off with the tutorials. I've just done the first tutorial, but we'll do it again together. Okay, so for this one, you had to take a pre-existing engine, and it was for a taxi company that wanted to have an engine that had a performance index more of 47, which is pretty easy to do. 47 is quite a low number for performance, and it had to be a reliability more than 35. So you can see the engine that I've done just with some minor tweaks. If we got an engine of 65 and the performance index of 51, sorry. So we can just have a quick look at it and I'll show you what we did. So a lot of the settings were locked for this engine. There wasn't as much we could alter. So we'll just break the engine down. So we had, the only one we could use was an inline engine, so all the pistons and cylinders all had to be in a line. We could only use a 4-cylinder. The block material had to be cast iron. It could only be, which roughly is an 1800 cc, 1800 cubic centimeter engine, so a 1.8 litre, and we had a double overhead cam. So the camshafts are here on the top, and the camshaft has the lobes which push on the valves, which open and close the cylinders, which lets the fuel come in, and then it closes. You have your spark plug ignite the fuel, and you have your explosion which pushes the piston down, and then as the piston travels back up, the exhaust opens and all the exhaust gas can travel out the exhaust. So having a double overhead cam is quite an efficient way of doing it, because there's minimal travel from the lobes to the valves, and you have one cam per side, so it's only having to do half the work on each side. Okay, head material cast iron, and we could not use any variable valve timing. So the valve timing, which is the valves are here, and the timing run by the timing belt on the front of the engine, it couldn't be adjusted. So a lot of modern cars, they adjust the timing, so they move it forward or back to accommodate, to make the engine more efficient. So as at low RPM, when you're taking off from the lights, we want to make the valves open and close at optimal time, so that fuel and air can get in at the right time, ignite it, and then can get out at the right time. So what we do if we, like in this engine, we just have a fixed, so it's always constant, we can't adjust it, we can't move it forward and back. So we have to find a happy medium between when we're just taking off at the lights and we have 1000 RPM to when we're at full speed on the open road and we want to pull out to pass and we take the engine right up to 5000 RPM. So we're going to obviously have one set of cam timing that's going to be better for the low end when we take off, and we're going to have a different set for when we're high end for the high RPM when we're at full speed. So we need to find somewhere in the middle, and that's why we have to do what we have to do when we have fixed. And then when we have adjustable variable valve timing, we can move it forward and back, so we can have a little bit, so we can have our cake and eat it too kind of thing. So cast iron crank for this engine, it's a very small 1800, not a lot of load, just a variable valve, no variable valve timing, no turbochargers or anything on it. So that's perfectly fine. Con rods, pistons, they're all easily going to handle the job. So when we got this engine, it had quite high compression. So the valves in the cylinder head, the area that was created here, was quite small, so the fuel and air mixture got compressed into quite a small area. So what we did is just increase the compression area, so the amount of so this volume here, what it could be compressed into at the top, so the whole space of the 1800 cubic centimeters. So we just opened that up a little bit, so it got compressed into a smaller area, a larger area, sorry. So when it's a larger area, there's less force pushed on the engine, so it makes it more reliable. So a lot of racing cars, what they do is they will skim the head and take some meat off it and make the valve area in the top here smaller, so that when the piston travels up, it's pushing more of this air fuel mixture into a smaller area, so it's making it more concentrated. So we went the other way and we made the area larger, so that when the ignition happened, when the fuel air mixture is burnt, we've got a larger area, so it fills that area slower because there's more area to fill. And for this we moved the cam up into the normal range, so we had it in the low range, which as you can see here, it makes for better economy. We weren't worried about economy, that was not one of the requirements of this engine. So we can move it up. So that means at lower RPM, we weren't worried about the engine being as efficient. We were just looking at more top end to get the performance, but only minimal. I mean, we've only moved the scaler just ever so slightly. Turbo, couldn't put a turbo in it. Fuel system, we couldn't adjust anything, but we had to use a low quality fuel. This engine originally was on the premium fuel, so we had to change it to a low fuel. And then I just bumped up the air fuel mixture, so the ratio of how much air to how much petrol is put into the engine. So we just added a little bit more petrol that's going to come into this engine each time. And that's all we had to change. The ignition timing on when that air fuel mixture is ignited, we left that the same. And the RPM, we just left that the same. The exhaust, we didn't have any options to change anything of that. And there we had it, and that was the first engine. So that was just a quick little intro, guys. We're going to obviously go into more detail on the other engines as we go through. We'll sort of have to work it out, and you'll get to see a lot more of the ins and outs on why I make the decisions I did. And when it starts to get harder, because I've tried out a few of the other scenarios and they do get very hard, I'm probably going to need your input as well on what we can do, because yeah, like I said, it does get very hard. I mean, this is just a tutorial so we can try and sort of understand things. So just to give you an idea, this engine is making 71 horsepower. So it's not a powerful engine, so the tolerances were very fine. It was very easy to make this reliable, and it's passed the first level, so that's the first one complete. So anyway, guys, we'll be back to do some more of these and moving into some of the car creator, where we'll start designing our own cars. just wanted to let you guys know what this was all about and why we're going to do this as another series. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the up and coming episodes. This is going to be another weekly series. And as always guys, check the description below for ways to support the channel. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.